Welcome. And let's start the tactical preview for the big game, as you can see on this weekend. So, of course, this game is not as significant in terms of the title race as it has been for the last few seasons. But these kind of games, guys, when you're doing very badly and you have your main competitor, can be a really great motivator for the players. And this could be the point if somehow, if somehow Liverpool managed to get a result, guys. This is the point where their season could really start. This could be the trigger for big things to come. If they get a result, the players can really go, yeah, if we can beat them, we can do anything. Let's go and try to achieve everything that we planned. Of course, the league is gone, but the Champions League still there, the FA Cup still there. But these kind of the games can be the real trigger for the players to actually step up now. First, we're going to analyze in short what Man City have been this season, so then we can come up with a proper game plan about how should Klopp set up his side. So this is Man City players' average positions from the last two games in the Premier League, the Manchester Derby and the Southampton game. So this season, in the first game of the season against West Ham, I saw De Bruyne played that lovely pass to Haaland and Haaland finishing it. In that game, I saw that yes, Man City are not anymore a front five team where the striker links up the game and they have two attacking midfielders with two wingers. That's not Man City anymore because they've got a striker like Haaland. And this is credit to Pep. And I think this is where Klopp failed. When you have a striker like a Nunes or like a Haaland, because the type of striker, they're both kind of similar in what they do. They like to run in behind, they like to bully defenders, they like to use their pace and power and strength to use it against the defenders. And when you have a striker like that, you need a player closer to them. And as you can see, guys, in the average positions in the last two games, this has been their story whole season. De Bruyne and Haaland are playing very close. It's not a 4-3-3 anymore. It's more of a 4-2-3-1. And against Southampton, you can see Haaland is actually behind De Bruyne, which is actually hard to imagine, but maybe something happened in that game. But what the point is that they have been very close. That allows Haaland to make some runs and De Bruyne to pick him out because Haaland is not the kind of striker who is going to link up the game. Similarly to Nunes, but Klopp continued with a 4-3-3. Now we are shifted to a 4-2-3-1, and Nunes had started to get some goal, and his movement does look good. But with Haaland, guys, this is credit to Pep, guys. He knew that I'm getting a player who is not necessarily suited to my style of play. So let me adapt something in my tactics so that I get the best out of a striker that has been devastating. So this is something that Man City have been this season. And while we create our game plan for Liverpool, we'll have to keep this in mind. Now, next slide, guys. This is the heading will trigger a lot of Liverpool fans if you're watching, and they'll go, "What? How can you not start Thiago? Henderson has been terrible. James Milner isn't even a question." And I'm seeing very much outrage against Henderson on Twitter and on social media in general. Like Henderson, drop him, he's terrible. And I get that, guys. He's not on the level of Thiago. I get his legs are not going. I get you're frustrated. You didn't get a midfielder. But for the game against Man City, you genuinely need Henderson to be on the pitch. Believe me, guys, Thiago is a beautiful footballer. He's world class. He's elite. On the ball, there are very few people in this world who are better than him. But that's not how we have to look at it, guys. Here I've got a screenshot from my last video. Below I've written it. This is from the Manchester Derby, where De Bruyne targeted Eriksen. And a big reason why Man United couldn't get any dominance in the midfield was because of Eriksen. Eriksen, Thiago, both are brilliant midfielders on the ball, but out of possession they could be found out. Out of possession they could be the target for opponent teams because of obvious reasons. They are the greatest defensively. Thiago doesn't have the leg that Henderson has, which you need defensively. He's smart. Thiago is a good game leader, but he doesn't have as many legs as you need to track a De Bruyne, which Henderson could. So against Man United, this is what happened, guys. Man City created these wide triangles. De Bruyne pushed a bit wider in the right inside channel. It pulled Eriksen out, and there was the space in the middle. And Eriksen doesn't really know how to play in that position in these league games, and Man United were found out in that really crucial position. So I believe if Henderson plays their guys alongside Fabinho, that won't happen. And how that won't happen, I'm going to talk about that in the further slide. So this is my point, guys. Thiago, brilliant footballer, but I think if we have to start Thiago, then we will have to drop one of Firmino or Nunez. But Firmino has to play in the number 10 position because of how easily he can link up the game. That could be crucial for Liverpool in transitions. And Nunez can just make runs after runs to bully defenders and to stretch the Man City defense. So Firmino, Nunez are both very important. And that's why dropping Thiago is essential because Henderson and Fabinho will have to be in that double pivot so that they have enough legs to stop Man City in there. Now we move on to the next slide. This is, guys, where I'm going to go to the website of Tactical Board now and create some sequences. So Man City's numerical overloads, another picture that I've used from the Manchester Derby video that I made. This, how much I emphasized this. Remember how much I emphasized in my last video while talking about the numerical overloads. Man City do this a lot. Man City used to do this on both the lanes for the last few seasons, but this season, with the changes in formation, which we discussed earlier in the video, they're doing this more on the left side because on the right side, it's Walker, who is not the greatest going forward. Akanji is a center back, so they have Cancelo, who is as creative as anyone, as gifted as anyone in still plays as a fullback. On the left side, they are creating these white triangles, guys. And now I'm going to show you how Liverpool can stop that, how Liverpool should set up to actually stop ball going from that side. And that's where the importance of Henderson comes in. So let's say Nathan Ake has the ball in this position, guys. Okay. Now, what I have, the whole point of this game plan, which I'm going to explain you here, is that whatever I'm going to explain you guys, believe me, it's very easy, of course, to show it on paper and on a website where I'm just moving my mouse around and just explaining you something. But believe me, this can be done. This is practically possible to be executed on the pitch. And a lot of teams do this. You force a team to move the ball on one side of their wing and you restrict them from moving it to the other side, which is their stronger side. A lot of teams do this, guys. So let's look at it. When Ake has the ball, let's say Salah has, the only thing he has to do is he has to cut the lane. If Cancelo moves deeper, as soon as Cancelo gets it, Salah has to force him to either go back to Ake or go back to Ederson. What he has to do is he doesn't have to allow Cancelo to get the ball in this position where they have this triangle. Because once that triangle has happened, Salah is not a great player at tracking back. So he'll stay here. Then it's a 2v3. It's a 2v3 just like it happened against Man United. We don't want that. So what do we want? How can he do it? When Ake has the ball, stop the ball from going into Cancelo. Salah has to stop that. Fabinho has to be on Bernardo Silva. Somehow just keep an eye on Rodri. Allow Nathan Ake to play the pass to Ruben Diaz. Allow him to play the pass to Ruben Diaz. Nunez doesn't have to press him, guys. He just has to make sure that he doesn't allow him. He cuts the lane to back to Ake. So now Diaz cannot play it back to Ake. Diaz has the ball. Jota just has to close this line to De Bruyne, and Henderson can also be there. And now allow him to play either a straight pass to Foden or a pass to Akanji. Akanji can then play to Foden. Akanji is not going to overlap Foden. So Foden can be 1v1 against Robertson. Robertson is a great defender. Akanji is not going to absolutely overlap him, which Walker could have done. So Akanji being there, you can give it to Foden. Now it's a 2v2. See here, now it's a 2v2 with Henderson and De Bruyne and Foden and Robertson. Foden can play this ball to here. Now this is the position where De Bruyne is the best. De Bruyne in that position is devastating, guys. We have all seen that. His passes, and not just now with Haaland, he played that lovely pass against Man United we saw this season, but throughout his career, in that right inside channels, the kind of passes he can pick out is just unbelievable. But you can stop that. Of course you can stop that. And Henderson has got the legs to stop that. Henderson has got the physicality to stop that. How? Whenever he gets the ball, again, Henderson doesn't have to commit himself all the way and get beat. No, he doesn't have to do that. He has to make sure that he cuts this lane. And this is, guys, is one of the biggest skills in football. And I, as a coach, when I'm coaching a team against certain kind of position-based team, I used to do this earlier when we used to play five-a-side with a club in my town. I used to tell them, you don't have to press, but you have to cut the lane of pass. You have to cut that lane. You just have to stand there. If Henderson gets in this position, if Henderson doesn't allow De Bruyne to just turn and get the ball on his strong foot and play this pass, De Bruyne then has, either he has to go back to Akanji or he has to drive himself with Robertson coming in, and he can then play this pass to Foden. Foden is right-footed, and then Robertson, if Foden gets here, Robertson can get there. And because Foden is right-footed, his cross won't be as dangerous as it could be with a right-footed player. Of course, you can say, no, but whatever game plan you're explaining, Devashish, Man City are still getting in the final third. Yeah, but they will. That's the point, guys. We cannot just stop Man City from getting in our final third. But what we can do is we can allow them to get in the final third in the positions that they are less efficient from, and not necessarily the positions from they're more dangerous, like a Cancelo, Grealish, and Bernardo Silva, that triangle. Or if Foden plays on that side, that triangle, they create an overload on that side, and Salah is not going to track back, is he? So that will be a very bad case scenario for Liverpool if Man City get the ball on that side, and Liverpool will struggle. So this is the kind of sequence I wanted to explain to you. Let's just quickly go through it once again, and let me explain you what I really mean. When Ake has the ball, cut this passing lane, allow him to get the ball to Diaz. Nunez doesn't have to press Diaz, just has to make sure that he doesn't pass it back to Ake. Cut the passing lane. Let him now let Ruben Diaz either play, because he's a very good ball playing defender, we have seen that. Let him play this pass, or let him play it to Akanji. Eventually, it's going to get to Foden. Once it gets to Foden, again, as I said, we have a 2v2. Henderson and De Bruyne, Robertson and Foden. I think Henderson and Robertson together are more than good enough to see the situation out and to not let the ball get in the box very easy, or not let an easy cross come in. Of course, a cross from Foden's right foot, if you allow that, that's not the worst case scenario. You have Konate, man, like they'll deal with that along with Alisson. And because it's Foden's right foot, the cross won't be as dangerous as it could be. So this is my idea, guys, about how Liverpool should set up out of position so that they don't just allow Man City to go on the side and play on the side that they love with Cancelo, Grealish, and Bernardo Silva. Instead, force them on the right side where they have got great players, but you also have good defenders on that side who can make sure that they don't just cut through you from that side. So this is my reason why I think Thiago shouldn't be playing, and this is how I think Liverpool should set up against Man City, so that Man City play on the side where they're less potent or less threatening compared to the other side where they just create overload after overloads. And now we move on to my final point. Of course, we have talked totally about the defending, about how Liverpool should set up to stop Man City. Of course, that's important because Man City are scoring so many goals that you have to be good defensively. You have to have a certain plan. You have to have the element of pragmatism within yourself to stop this Man City team. I don't mean play a low block, but have a sense of pragmatism. Just have a sense of measured, calculated risk while you're pressing. And this is now my final slide where we talk about how Liverpool should attack. How Liverpool should attack, guys, is this is how I think. Of course, you're going to say, that's a cliche, man. That's a cliche. You just want Salah's speed to be executed. It's a cliche, maybe, because it's right. Now, Firmino can get the ball in this area and he can link up the game brilliantly well. The pass that Firmino played to Nunes against Rangers, the way he cushioned it for Nunes, that's the kind of player Nunes needs behind him, who is brilliant out of position, who is intelligent, who is smart, who has great spatial awareness, and then is extremely creative. That's a perfect combination for a number 10, guys. Maybe not as good as De Bruyne, but Firmino in his own ways could be world class on his day. We just saw that this season. We are seeing it again and again. He's been brilliant for Liverpool. Now, Salah, guys, we saw in the Community Shield game, which, by the way, was the biggest joke of a game, guys. When I watched that game, I was like, mate, this is unbelievable. Liverpool are brilliant. Man City are struggling. And since then, Liverpool have went like this, and Man City have just been devastating. In that game, guys, Cancelo struggled defensively. And since then, Cancelo has been brilliant in possession. He has been creative. He has been scoring goals. Whenever they're struggling to create, he's the kind of player they give the ball to. Like maybe De Bruyne struggling, like let's give it to Cancelo because he plays so wide, he's in so much space. He can then utilize that much space to play some passes. His pass against Dortmund, when he played that pass to Haaland, is the perfect example. When they're struggling to break down a team, Cancelo can open them up. But he's weak defensively. In multiple games, he has struggled defensively. And Salah has just scored a hat-trick. Now, you might say that why you want Salah to again play in a position where he has struggled, and why don't you want him to be central? The reason I don't want him to be central, guys, is not only in this game. Do you remember in that All or Nothing Man City documentary when Pep was talking about Mane, Firmino, Salah? This is the space he talked about. He said, once they get the ball, bang. Once they get the ball, bang, they hit that space behind the center backs. And Cancelo is going to move forward. Akanji won't. Akanji won't really move that much forward, and it will be more like a back three. But Ake against Salah, as good as Ake is, I back Salah in that battle, especially when Cancelo has left all that space. We have discussed this. Don't let Cancelo have the ball, but whenever they attack, Cancelo will move slightly forward. Whenever he has the ball in that position, just make sure you win it back, bang, into Salah. Get it to Firmino. Firmino will get it to Salah, because when Firmino will try to get it to Salah, Nunes will make his own runs. Just look at my mouse pointer, guys. Nunes can make this run. Salah will make this run. And Firmino has the ability to pick out all kinds of passes. It might sound to a lot of you like a cliche that what special are you saying there, Ashish? Just attack the space behind Cancelo. Yeah, I mean, of course it's a cliche, guys, but sometimes the cliches are the things that you need to focus upon. Because with Firmino in that position, and Fabinho also, who has a good passing range, you have the players to unleash Salah. You get Salah in that position 1v1 against Nathan Ake. I mean, I think Liverpool have a good chance if they can execute the game plan that I've explained, along with the plan that Klopp has. But if he has an element of whatever I'm explaining here, which I think he will surely have, then I think there's a big chance that Liverpool can get a result against Man City. So some of my points which I've made, like the Thiago one, you might disagree. And you might also disagree with me in terms of when I said allow Man City to go on the right side because De Bruyne is there, and you have your valid arguments as well. So what I want you to do, guys, is put in the comments. Just put in the comments where you disagree with me, or you have the links in description from where you can contact me, mail me, message me, get on a video with me, and let's discuss footballing things like this, where we can really educate each other, because I think that is really missing in the football community. But let me know where you disagree with me. I would love to know your thoughts. And it's a big game on the weekend. I think it could be a draw, but I cannot see a Liverpool win. So my prediction for this would be a draw because they're playing at Anfield, which could really help Liverpool. So my prediction would be a draw, and let me know what you think about my game. Thank you.